Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to the True North podcast, where we discuss all things relevant for men's physical, emotional, and mental health. Today is episode 1. We're going to talk about why short term hacks don't work, why so many of us look for these short term hacks, and it's particularly relevant for this time of year. It's the first week in January, and lots of people set new goals or New Year's resolutions, and then find that a month down the line, they're back to square one. They're back to where they were before. I know I did this a lot through my life, always setting new goals. I've got journals full of positive affirmations and goals, and they ended up being the same every year. And nothing changed for me until I looked deeper, until I started to change myself.
Yeah. So the other thing with these hacks, they just keep coming out with new ones. It doesn't always have to stay that same. The weight loss, the new exercise program, the new variation, right? It doesn't have to always just stay like that. There's new fancier ones, more expensive ones, right? Like I'm thinking of sauna and cold plunge is like a big thing, and I tried that last year. Was trying out cold plunges, right? It's like, and I was hyped on it. I went 5 a.m., 6 days a week. I went at 5 a.m. I was the only one, and I would pay money every month to go in. And I think it really helped a ton, right? Like I noticed all these changes that happened like pretty much immediately. And I would just spin myself up, hyping up the cold plunge, right? I had more energy. Like I immediately felt benefits. So I just kept going, right? So I'm talking weeks and months I was doing this, but eventually, I think eventually I just stopped paying for it and stopped doing it, right? It probably lasted 2 months for me, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of these hacks do have a short term benefit, but like you said, there's always a new one. You're always just giving your money up to the next thing. Like I'm being served loads of ads for this MNM or something at the moment, this new supplement, right? And
I don't
that's
know.
the latest thing. It's like, take this, it's going to transform your life.
AG or AG1 or any of these things. This is a green drink. This is beetroot powder. This is a red drink. Now you got your greens and your reds every morning, right? It's always some thing that just gets you sucked in, and it always works. It always gets attention, and it always pulls you in. So did you buy it? Did you go into it?
I haven't bought these, no. I did buy some supplements a couple of years ago. I think there's some ashwagandha, something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and some other stuff. And then there's a testosterone thing that's massive at the moment. Like people think they can increase their testosterone and completely solve every problem they've got in their life. But I
Yep.
think that's
Yep.
the problem with these things, is that they can make you feel better, but they're all surface level, right? They're changing something in the short term, but they're not really changing the foundation of who you are. And when it comes down to it, that's the thing that's creating your life, right? Your ultimately your self-worth, your coping mechanisms, your adaptive behaviors, whether you're people pleasing or you self-sabotage or you procrastinate, or even the energy and the vibration that you're putting out there, that's what's creating the important things in your life. That's creating the level of abundance you've got and the people that are showing up in your life and your relationships and how you're turning up in your life. Ultimately, your career, your purpose, all that stuff. They're the things that really matter to most men, and they can't be solved with these short-term hacks. Let's talk
Yeah.
about a few of the ones that we've used. You mentioned saunas. I know you do a lot of working out. You've used a lot of different programs in the
Oh
past.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I've tried. I convinced myself that I was like, okay, triathlons is what I should be doing, right? I did sports forever. I did soccer, track, basketball, tennis, and I did P90X way back in the day. I've always been running and kept in shape. So then I thought, okay, triathlons, like I'll do that. I did one, loved it. And the thing about it is it's like you get to learn, like it's perfect for guys like me. You get to learn about heart rate zone training. So it's not only are you trying to like as a New Year resolution, like you're going to get in shape. Not only are you just doing a workout program, you're learning. You're learning about how to train yourself, how to exercise, how to do mobility work, how to swim, bike, run, and lift weights, how to dial in your bike, how to fix your bike, what kind of shoes do you want, hydration, nutrition, and supplementation and sleep and rest and recovery. So guys like me go in, I'm like, I'm educating myself and I'm learning how to take care of myself. And I'm taking care of my body, I'm taking care of my heart. I feel better after I work out first thing in the morning. I'm just doing that a little bit more disciplined and a little bit more regimented. So I felt a ton of positive feedback from that. I loved it.
Yeah.
It worked so well, right? It fills your schedule. That's another big thing, right? It fills up all of that empty time. Because if you want to do it, you got to mark out time in your calendar and it just fills up all of this time to kind of distract yourself, right? So you're staying extra, extra busy. And I just always stayed on, which is one of the things that eventually led to me kind of falling apart was I just was always on. Like there was no rest and recovery. The David Goggins attitude, like I turned it up a notch every day.
Well, another great thing is you get to buy a load of kit.
Oh yeah, I bought a lot of stuff.
I've still got my wetsuit hanging up. It's been used once in the
I got a
Thames for the
wetsuit.
London Triathlon in 2012.
I got a wetsuit. Yeah, I rented one once, and then I was like, okay, there was a sale. Well, I mean, I'm losing money if I don't buy this for $200. I've used it enough to get the value out, but it's sitting in my closet. I cleaned it, and then it's just sitting there. I will use it again, but in my head, I bought it thinking like 3 times, 4 times a year, 5 times a year, I'll be using this. It's going to get plenty of use. And now it's more like I'll do a triathlon. I'll do 1, 2 a year. If I get a group to go and I won't do a long one. I won't train super hard for it. Just go do it as an event. But man, the gear, the cycling gear, you can spend.
Good
It's like
fun.
golf. You can just go forever on this stuff. So you get trapped,
Yeah, I spent
right?
about
Like,
I spent $2,000 in on a bike that then got stolen in central London. So that didn't last very long. But yeah, I think that's there's lots of appealing things to that's like a new hack, isn't it? It's a new interest. It's like I need to buy the kit. Like you said, it's a distraction. In hindsight, looking back on those kind of years, even though there was a lot of benefit to obviously physical health, and I think a lot of men are into working out because it does give you an instant hit, does make you feel better. But what was the thing that you were trying to achieve, like underneath on a deep level with that that kind of exercise?
yeah, I was never chasing aesthetics or some bench press record or deadlift record or like a time. I was always chasing, like, I just want to push myself to my limit. I was always chasing because when I would do that, two things would happen. Like I would get access to a lot of emotion if I pushed hard enough, fast enough for long enough. I would get access to some powerful emotions within me. That was kind of addicting to me, right? Some people call it like a runner's high and things like that. I think that I had a version of that that was just a lot of sadness, a lot. And if I ran long enough and if I rode hard enough, I could get there and I would feel a lot. And then after that, I would feel fantastic. And I was doing that, right? That was why I chose endurance versus weightlifting, right? I would lift weights once, twice a week and then just hit cardio brutally hard all the time because I need that feeling. The other thing would be I just always felt so exhausted afterwards. I wasn't as mad. Right, you get that like dopamine hit. I would just feel endorphins, and then the rest of the day or the first half of the day, the next 4 hours after that brutal workout, I would feel relaxed. So those things I'm chasing, but right, like that would only last what, 3 hours, 4 hours, and then I would have to like get another hit. I mean, some of the plans I would follow would have double days. You get to work out twice in a day, right? So solve my problem first thing in the morning, have a good first half of the day, work out again in the evening, and show up to the kids feeling much better. That's kind of how I was doing it.
So in a way, you were managing your like internal emotional state through the working out, and also you were probably in a lot of ways, using it as a coping mechanism for, like you said, that anger or anxiety or whatever it is. Because, like you said, after you work out, you get a feeling of achievement, you get the
Hmm.
endorphins, your nervous system is regulated for a few hours. You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
this
you
feels
feel
great.
great.
And then suddenly all the stuff starts coming up again and
Yeah.
dysregulating you and calling for your attention. You don't know what to do with it.
Oh
I
yeah.
did it for
Oh yeah.
years.
Like,
I was either in a state of training or exercise through my 20s and early 30s. So I did a lot of kickboxing. So for me, that was a similar thing. That was either kicking the pads, like trying to find an outlet for all the anger that I had, or sparring, or even fighting towards the end. I had some like organized fights. So I was either in that mode or I was in full alcoholic mode, like going out
yeah,
4 times a week. And I would just cycle through that. Me and a friend living together in London, we were either like playing cards, drinking whiskey, smoking Marlboros, or we were down the
oh
gym
yeah.
every night. Just going on that roller coaster. But all the time I was running away from something. I was either trying to release the anger or I was trying to numb the anger. Basically, in those two moments, whatever
Yep. Yep.
whatever season I was in.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a voice, like in the morning, first thing in the morning, my voice talking to myself was just, you say like a negative self inner voice and things like that. I looking back, mine was just absolutely cruel. It was not nice. It was cruel. And it would just be cripplingly brutal to me every morning. And then I would get up and get after it. Right. Like that's how I would solve that problem, was just speaking to myself like I was a prisoner and I hated this person. You're
Crazy, isn't it?
just
So what
trapped.
was the voice? Was the
It's
voice like, you're
brutal.
useless, get out there? What was it?
Oh my god. It would just be, I mean, I just woke up. I just woke up. And could you imagine if I spoke to my wife in the way that I spoke to myself first thing in the morning? She would just like, I've
You'd
never
be
done it.
divorced, mate. You'd be divorced.
It's just, worthless, you worthless piece of shit. Like you can't believe you drank alcohol last night, you piece of shit. And then just, you're so worthless. And then I'd get out of bed and it would slowly turn out, come on, you gotta move. And then I would just roll out of bed and start things moving a little bit. And then that was always first thing, working out. It's kind of a blessing. I'm glad I went down that path, because eventually I found out that I have a heart issue, and I wouldn't have been able to find this out if I didn't kind of have this drive inside me to just push and push and push. So I found out eventually that if I push myself hard enough for long enough, I get my heart rate will jump from whatever it's at up to like 240, 250 beats a minute, and I start to feel woozy, like I'm going to pass out. And I could trigger that by just going hard. Learned eventually it was called SVT, supraventricular tachycardia, and it's exercise induced. So the answer is, I think, like, you could pay a ton of money and go get this resolved by like some kind of a surgery. They like kind of shock something around your heart, or you just chill out and don't go so hard, which is the answer that I found. It's like, know your limit and know what that feels like, and then stay below that. So learning that was huge for me. Was like a signal. Like, talk about all these signals to kind of fix yourself. I mean, that's a massive red flag. It's like, why are you doing that? You're not a professional athlete. You're not competing. You're not getting paid to do this. Nobody asks you to do this to yourself. And then I'm triggering like a traumatic heart event from trying to be a healthy person, you know?
Yeah, that's extreme. And I think that that's like what a lot of the problems are with these hacks, is that we go extreme because we are looking to find a solution to something, and the answer's never in what we're trying to do. So you just get more and more extreme, trying to find that feeling, trying to find the answer. The exercise one's really interesting. I work with clients, as you know, on a one-to-one basis. So I meet people online in their offices or whatever. And the amount of times I see the medals on the back wall or the trophies, and I'm like, what are they for? and it'll be from Ironman, it'll be from triathlon. It's like extreme sports. And part of the fascination with it is this desire to like punish self. Like we think it's actually embodying and healthy.
Yeah.
But once you slip into the extremes, it gets really unhealthy. And part of it is this, like you said, part of it comes with an inner critic. You're fucking useless, right? You're not good enough. You did this, you did it wrong again. You need to go out and punish yourself. And even pushing your body to the extreme, going through the pain is a form of self-punishment.
Yeah. Yep.
But really, the answer's you can always run further. You can always do more. And like you said, the other thing that goes with the medals is the injuries. The body, you're pushing your body too much because everyone's injured.
Yeah. Yeah. I constantly had, little injuries here and there. And my in-laws or friends would be like, why do you always have this injury? How's your back? You're like, I think that just comes with, running 120 miles a month for a year, like over and over and over, and still trying to deadlift and still just pushing it. Like some of these things, I wasn't doing like mild maintenance, right? All of the small little things like the yoga and the core work and balance and stretching that you need to do if you start to like become more of an elite athlete. You also got to do the groundwork, like take care of yourself. And I'm doing it for punishment. A lot of these people do it for punishment. So they're just going to have injury after injury after injury, and it's never going to heal because you're not following some program. You're just going, I want to go to the end. I want to find the limit. I want to just
Yeah,
push
you're not
myself harder
interested
and
in the
harder.
self-care part of it. You're not interested in the bit that's healthy for you.
No, I want to run hard. That's what they gave me a medal. I did a triathlon. I get a medal. I said, I don't even want it. Right? That's another signal. It's like, I don't want the medal. I don't need to feel accomplished. I just want the pain.
Yeah.
It's another signal.
Well, it's interesting because I was talking about my cycles earlier, and I'm online a lot. There's a lot of guys that are in the like addiction phase, in the alcohol phase, in the drug phase. They're tired of it. They're exhausted. They're ill. They want a change. They want something else. But one of the challenges is that the workout phase is offered as a solution, and it's like, how do I solve the problem? But really, you're just getting maybe a healthier kind of coping mechanism.
Yeah, that's right. It is healthier, so you can give yourself that. It's a good step forward, but you would want to also be like, okay, now there's other things too, right? There's other things that should come along for that ride. It's a good habit, just like these other things, right? Like the stuff we do, like reading, right? Turning off the phone, getting all of these things kind of come together, but none of them are a solution. They're all just like pieces of a puzzle, and nobody's kind of putting them all together, right?
Yeah. So my life now, after doing the work, consciously releasing the emotion that was driving all this stuff, my life now looks just more balanced. So I work out. I don't necessarily do boxing anymore. I work out for fitness. I want to feel good. I'm getting older. I want to be flexible. I want to be fit. I want to be strong. I want to be able to play with the kids. I want to be able to do all that stuff. And then on the alcohol side as well, I might have a beer. I might have a couple of beers. I might have some wine, whatever. But it's not a thing. I'm not on this roller coaster anymore. And that's really what this episode is about. You could say it's about balance, because we talked right at the start about physical, mental, and emotional health. The emotional health is the thing that really gets neglected. Men find it very easy to look at the physical for a solution, just like you were doing, just like I did. When really that's not in balance. That's not where the solution lies. The physical is good, but we need to look after the mental health. We need to look after the emotional health. I want to talk a bit about that, how to create balance. And a lot of that is about becoming embodied, doing inner work, actually doing the deep work to connect to yourself, listen to your emotions. It's a process you've been through with me and that we guide a lot of men through in the Lighthouse Project now. So what's your experience been like in widening out or finding balance? Because I know we talked about this before, and even when you started doing this work, you didn't even really know what feelings were. You were like, well, I have feelings, like I have
Yeah.
emotions. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know what they are. You're like, yeah, okay, I can describe it. But honestly, I don't know. Was not in touch with them. I don't know what they were. I started to have them and I would get a smile. That's a part for me to eventually find balance. It kind of started with just understanding, trying to understand myself a little bit better and then a lot better. And then kind of learning what I like and which means I had to know how I feel. What do I feel? How do I feel about these certain things? The questions are easier to answer if you just know yourself better. And the way to know yourself better is to get a connection with yourself and with your inner child and do all these exercises so you can figure out and answer that question. I don't think any coach in the world can help me figure out exactly what my version of balance is. I think I'm the person who has to kind of come up with that answer myself. You can get guidance and I can ask people and learn about things, but for me, finding balance has just been more about asking myself, what do I want and what do I need? And kind of figuring out the difference between the two. Because what I want, part of me still likes to just push myself. I like to push myself and run a lot. But what do I need? I need to let my injuries heal. I need to be strong because I want to focus on longevity and being healthy for a very long time. I don't need to be pull up record or bench press record, but I want to be able to do those. I need to be mobile so I can get off the couch when I'm 80. I want to have a strong heart. So I've been cycling because I can't run. So I'm getting some balance in that. And I'm doing yoga a lot more. Um,
You want
and
to
then
drive it
spending time.
350? The most important
I
thing.
want to be able to drive the ball. That was another unintended side effect of all the endurance and lack of power and impulse and explosiveness was like I was so focused on endurance. I definitely felt lost some power and strength in golf. So finding time to be better at golf, putting, chipping, like finding I miss golf. I love golf. And I just was telling myself I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have money. I don't have time. So finding balance and asking myself these questions. What do I like? It just becomes so much easier to answer. So now I have it. It's kind of I have a lot of hobbies and it's about making sure that throughout the week that I give myself the opportunity to do some of these hobbies a little bit here and there as opposed
Yeah.
to strictly following some plan, some program because I said I would.
Yeah, I mean, this work that we do is deep, it's complex, and it changes your life in many ways. What you're talking about, you were driven by a very harsh inner critic. You were driven by the emotions that were in your body because you desired that regulation, the nervous system regulation that you got from exercise. You were driven by punishing yourself, right? Which is a lot of people. So doing the inner work to connect to the emotions and release the emotions means you don't need to regulate your body anymore through exercise because your body's regulated. Okay, your nervous system's regulated. So then you have a choice of what you want to do. Okay, I'll play golf 3 times a week. I'll do some exercise 3 times a week. You get the choice back in your life because you're not using exercise or alcohol as a coping mechanism. The other thing you do through the process once you've released the emotion is you find those parts of you with a negative voice. That's not you, that's a learnt voice, that's somebody else's voice, actually, from probably childhood that is still playing as a track in your head. And when you find that part of you and you see that part of you, you give that part of you permission to play and be himself and give him the attention he needs, whatever it is. Suddenly that inner voice changes. And then you don't have to punish yourself anymore. And that's going back to what you were saying is that's when you can connect to what do I want,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because the inner voice is quiet. The anger, the sadness, the rage, whatever you've been carrying around, that's out of your body, that's quiet. Then you get to start to recognize what's actually happening in your body. Actually, this brings me joy because I feel it. I feel joy in this moment,
Oh yeah.
rather than just continually pushing yourself, punishing yourself, going through the motions, or even following somebody else's direction. The reason people keep changing and going for different short-term hacks is because people are offering it to them and they don't know what they need. So they're like, maybe testosterone's the answer. Maybe this supplement's the answer. Maybe walking Tai Chi is the answer, because that's what I'm being served like every day on YouTube right now. Right?
Yeah, I
Because
saw
people,
that. Yeah.
yeah, right. They're not connected to, no, this is me. This is what I need right now. This is what I enjoy. And they don't give themselves permission to do that. So working on the emotional side of ourselves, which our process does, allows for that balance from many ways.
Yeah, that's also why a lot of those hacks fail. Like all these things at the beginning of the new year, a lot of them would fail for many people because it's not a perfect fit for what that person needs. That's kind of what you said as well. Like they'll try this. I'm going to try this workout program, and then a couple weeks or a couple months in, or like 6 weeks in, they stop doing it. It's because they don't like it, right? It's not a fit for them. Like maybe some of it is, but it's too much, or it's too little, or it's the wrong fit. It's the wrong thing for them to do in that moment. So then they just quit. Sometimes you're just doing the wrong thing for you. I've tried doing like a 90-day yoga thing, and I was a couple years ago, and after like 2 weeks, I just stopped because 7 days a week of yoga is too much yoga for me. There's nothing wrong with yoga. I need 1 or 2 days a week at most. Any more than that, and I'm forcing myself to do this stuff. But that's what this was advertised as. It's like, fix your this in 90 days, join us on this program, start the new year right. And I made it to like January 20th, and then I just bail. And I'm like, okay. Then you feel bad and you start to do the cycle of doing all this other stuff, going out to bars, not working out, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. And I think any extreme activity is not going to work long term, because you're just not going to stick.
Even if you are able to stick to it, right? Like that's a hard path. That's a very, very hard path to stick to. I'm going to be a triathlete until I'm 90. That's like, I'm going to burn out. I'm going to burn out, and I'm going to miss the opportunity for all these other things in life.
Yeah. So if you're experiencing those things in your life, right, you're going hard, you're going extreme, you're looking for the next workout plan, whatever it is, it probably means it's driven by something. It's driven by
Yeah.
a need to cope. It's driven by a harsh inner critic. It's like a survival mechanism. And that's where the dysfunction comes. Of course, it's good to work out. I guess the point I would like to make to everyone is that if you're making the same New Year's resolutions again, or if you're trying your 25th different workout regime and you're always coming back to the original point of pain or dysfunction or, disconnection from your emotions, then it's time to look for something else. In fact, if you're looking for anything external to change your life, then it's time to look somewhere else. It's time to look inside. Because I go back to my first point, you're creating your reality in real time. You're creating your health, your fitness, your levels of abundance, your purpose, your relationships. All of this stuff is created by your inner voice, your self-worth, your emotional baggage, your emotional health, your mental health, all of those things. And all of those things are inward. You are carrying your emotional baggage around in your body, right? Your adaptive behaviors, your self-worth is an internal, it's in your subconscious. It was created decades ago. So if you are looking to make change in your life, and there's nothing wrong with desiring change, we should all desire some growth and some change, then the answers are inside,
Oh
right?
yeah.
The answers are going on the journey that I've been on, that you've been on, that many of the men in the community have been on, which
Oh
is
yeah.
freeing yourself of the need to do any of this stuff,
Yeah.
freeing yourself by letting go of the emotional baggage, by changing the inner tracks, by changing your self-worth, and therefore you change your vibration, right? And actually that's when things start to change in your life, is when you turn up differently.
Oh yeah. They start to change quickly, right? It's not overnight, but it's very, very quickly. Within weeks, you start to see other people differently. All of those interactions and connections with other people start to change. I could feel myself enjoying the change of perspective with every person that I'm talking to, or having just new interactions with the same people. I had so many coworkers that would bug me, or just people or situations, and I just could feel not getting no emotions tied to that, right? Like, no, I'm not getting pulled into just being angry at that person and being frustrated. You change inside, and then all of your reality does change. It really does, because
Mm.
your interactions change with everything, right?
Yeah. You can't be triggered anymore because there isn't the
No.
emotion to be triggered. You're embodied, so you're connected to the present moment. You're connected to your family. You're connected to nature. You're connected to yourself. You start living from that point of presence and peace and calm. You can still push
Hmm.
yourself from that point. It's not a problem. We should push ourselves, but you don't have to, right? It doesn't come with a harsh inner critic like you're a fucking loser. You need to do this. It's more like, this feels purposeful. I'm going to do it because I want to do it.
Yeah. So even though I'm this new person and I've been on this journey 14 months, feels a lot longer than that, I still am going through this, like, oh, I'm going to set some goals this year. I'm not jumping on a new fad diet that I'm going to bail on anyway. But like, one of those small things was just like paying attention to what I'm eating, because now that I have this connection with myself, I'm noticing how uncomfortable so many different things I eat make me feel. I'm noticing the exhaustion, or I'm noticing the excess coffee. I have a newborn, so I'm ignoring the fact that I'm drinking an insane amount of coffee. I'm just ignoring that for right now. But I still am going on a path of like some New Year's resolution kind of thing. It's just being more mindful and present and respecting myself and what I'm putting into it and how I'm treating myself.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like but it's balanced. I'm not looking to change anything actually. Like, I've been on purpose for a little while. My fitness regime is balanced, so I feel like pretty good. Like, I feel good. Just do the same. More golf, right?
Yeah.
Get over to California as much as possible.
Yeah. The golf, you got to make time for golf. I love it.
Yeah,
As soon as you walk out
yeah,
there, you can just smell it. You go, this is going to be a good day.
yeah, for sure, without a doubt. So if there's any guys out there that feel like they're not in balance and are using another short-term hack to try and find balance in their life, or they're going extreme and they feel like it's not serving them anymore and it's dysfunctional, then I advise you to come and check out our community. The website's jointhelighthouseproject.com. We've got an online community, guys all around the world. We meet up online, we meet up face to face, and we've got all the tools and support you need to find that balance, find that self-love, and let go of any of the dysfunction that's caused by those extremes that you're currently experiencing in your life.
Nailed it.